Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. It's the day after 6 things we learned, the day after Chelsea and Tottenham battle out a goalless draw at Stamford Bridge. And of course, whenever Chelsea don't win a game of football, there is always an element of controversy about the backlash that comes as a result of Chelsea Football Club not winning games. And today, we're going to bring back the series of Chelsea Fans React, which is the series where I take a look at your comments, I take a look at your responses to me posting on social media or on YouTube, and I go through some of your feedback of my feedback, and we start to debate amongst ourselves again in the comments down below. But before we get into any of that, I do want to ask you to subscribe to GBFC if you haven't already done so. And if you're happy that I'm bringing back this series where we take a look at your comments on the screen, be sure to hit the like button on today's video. If we can hit 5,000, that would be absolutely wonderful. Almost as wonderful as this guy's t-shirt. He sent this in to me on Twitter, and I was amazed, to be honest. I thought it was one of the best things I've ever seen in my life, which is the most egotistical thing I've ever said in my life. I don't think it's the best t-shirt ever, and I'm a bit surprised at the screenshot that he chose to use, but just wanted to whack that one in a video because I thought the dedication from one of you deserved a little bit of airtime here on GBFC. I can't believe I've just posted this one. This is crazy. But anyway, the first comment that I want to read is, of course, from a couch potato, and he says, "You're delusional," which is, you know, quite often something that happens in football. If someone says something that you don't quite agree with, there's nothing better than, you know, just throwing out some lovely statistics or some proper analysis. Who would do that when you can just go ahead and call me delusional? So shout out to the couch potato. 6 hours ago, I've been sat here wondering what to do with my life ever since I read this one. But thank you for the comment, and I hope you watch the video all the way through till the end. But having read a lot of the comments, and there were nearly 1,000 of them already so far, on the 6 things we learned from Chelsea 0, Spurs 0, the majority of the comments were critiquing my decision not to give Tammy Abraham a red box. Now, before I filmed this video, I was actually on a 1-hour live stream over on Matisse's YouTube channel. I will leave a link to the video if you want to sit and listen to me and him go backwards and forwards talking Chelsea for another hour. Once you finish this video, go ahead and drop him a subscription. We were chatting a little bit about Tammy, and I was defending Tammy, and I was defending Lampard's decision not to bring Olivier Giroud on any earlier than he actually did, because, you know, it's my opinion, we're all allowed to have differing opinions. And yes, you could say that if Olivier Giroud was on the pitch for the crosses that Reece James put in, that Tammy Abraham didn't convert, and probably just as much so the Timo Werner ball in, where Tammy kind of fell over and didn't make any contact with the ball. I do feel and I do believe that Olivier Giroud would have probably converted at least one of those chances. However, it didn't happen, and I stand by what I said in the 6 things we learnt video, where I actually believe that Tammy Abraham was one of our most positive players in the first half, and it wouldn't have made sense for, hypothetically of course, for Lampard to actually make that change any earlier, because Tammy's performance, I thought at least, warranted his place on the pitch for most of that second half. It was only after he missed a bundle of chances that Lampard decided to bring him off. Now, there's also the debate within that of Olivier Giroud scored the winning goal against Rennes. We want to try and keep him at the club because we know that he needs to get minutes in order to be playing for the French national team. And it's the kind of game where Chelsea are probably going to win it, if we win it, by converting chances that come from crosses, with Hakim Ziyech putting in balls, with Reece James putting in balls. And the next comment that I want to read out is from Joseph Porto. And he says, again, this one is lovely, just for, you know, for clarification, we learned that Benson and Lampard are morons, and then an extra elongated ellipsis. Just having Havertz on the bench and not placing Timo as central forward, it's a clear demonstration how we have been losing points by Lampard's stupidities. Havertz was bought to be behind the striker, and that was Timo. Now, the thing with Kai Havertz is he had the coronavirus. I don't know if I've had the coronavirus, I might have done, but I don't think I have. So I don't know what it's like when you recover from a virus that's only been here for about a year in the world. And it's one of those where match fitness, in terms of Frank Lampard making his selections, particularly for a game against a very high-intensity team, which is kind of a bit ironic really yesterday, because the only thing that was intense about Spurs is how much they liked their own penalty area. But at the same time, Frank Lampard can't just start Kai Havertz because we bought him to play behind Timo Werner and he cost 72 million, unless Frank Lampard is confident that Kai Havertz is match fit. We also know that based off of recent performances and based off of a lot of Lampard's decisions when it comes to putting out his starting 11, he picks his team based off of a meritocracy of players that have actually been playing well in the build-up and in recent games prior to the one that we are talking about now. Kovacic and Mason Mount have both been brilliant as number 8s recently. N'Golo Kante playing in CDM, we know that that's going to be the place that he plays in. Havertz isn't going to come in and take Kante's place for that reason. So, I don't just want to react to negative comments all the time in this series, but the majority of comments on yesterday's 6 Things We Learned were actually based off of, people thinking I was stupid because I gave 4 greens and 2 yellows for a draw against the top team in the table right now. So, I don't just want to feel like, I don't want you guys to think I'm just addressing the negativity, but that's the way that I love these series to work, where if you guys don't agree, we can go backwards and forwards. And even now, we can still go backwards and forwards in the comments. Let me know what you think. Moving on in this comment, it's quite a long one. Now, after Lampard's experiment to protect Abraham, displacing Timo, this is the part that frustrates me. People think that Lampard has this affiliation with Tammy Abraham, Mason Mount, so it would be impossible for him to drop these players to make way for somebody else. I don't believe that for 1 second, but let's carry on listening to what Mr. Joseph has to say. The moron believes that Pulisic is Timo's replacement. The change was Pulisic for Abraham, moving Timo as central forward. You could argue that that one could have worked if Christian Pulisic comes on for Tammy Abraham and then Timo Werner goes as the striker. That could have worked, but I think realistically yesterday, Timo Werner looked tired. And me and Matisse spent quite a lot of time talking about this on his channel, where Timo Werner was supposed to be rested for the game away at Burnley. Pulisic was going to start on the left wing. Abraham was going to be the starting striker. Christian Pulisic gets injured in the warm-up, meaning that Timo Werner starts. Pulisic's out for a few games, which means Timo Werner doesn't get that opportunity for a rest. And I think yesterday, Timo didn't look sharp. He didn't quite look very sharp in midweek as well. And I feel as though Timo coming off was probably the right decision. Havertz has to be started. Well, we've already addressed that one. Business-oriented Lampard boosts his favourites, Tammy and Mason, giving them minutes to settle, but not the same for Havertz. Again, the rest of the comment is up on the screen now, if you wish to read it. I think this whole favouritism thing with Frank Lampard towards Mason Mount and Tammy Abraham, or whatever it may be, whichever combination, I don't buy into any of it whatsoever. I can totally see the reasons why Frank Lampard has, of course, started Mason Mount. Mason Mount has been brilliant recently for Chelsea. He guarantees his place in the team for me right now. As for Tammy, in the build-up to this game, he's looked very good. Because he misses a couple of chances, people like to throw this Lampard has favourites and he makes poor decisions all the time card out of the window based off of frustration. And the reason I wanted to address these kind of comments in today's video is because that draw yesterday puts Chelsea on a 14-game unbeaten run. We're still only 2 points off the top of the table. Spurs have been one of the best teams this season with a very, very good away record. And even though we could have won the game and definitely should have won the game, I feel as though the backlash that Lampard is getting for the timing of his substitutions and the starting 11 that he picked is a little bit unfair, if I'm honest, and I don't actually think it's anywhere near as big of a deal as some people are trying to make it out to be. Tammy Abraham missed a few chances, but in my opinion, he deserved to be on the pitch. Christian Pulisic is just coming back from injury. Havertz is just coming back and he's not match fit, or he's not ready for the starting 11 for a game of this intensity. I think Frank did the best that he could with the players he had available, with the injuries that have been had. I don't think it was a bad call. So the next comment we're going to take a look at is the comment from Donovan Thomas. Commented 2 hours ago. He says, in my opinion, Lampard is showing that when it comes to the big teams, he tends to play conservative and not taking chances. If we're going to win the league, we have to beat the big teams. 3 now, and we're playing them differently from the lower level teams. This can't be the way forward. I think the decision that Frank made yesterday to not revert back to what was something that was very good last season, playing 3 at the back against Spurs, keeping the confidence with the 4-3-3, I think is massive for Chelsea moving forward. We know that just because we spent 200+ million on players this season, it doesn't mean that we can just buy dark blue ribbons on the Premier League trophy just because these players have come in. We're still in the middle of a transitional period at Chelsea Football Club. These new players have come in, they've hit the ground running, we're looking good. We know that 4-3-3 is now the preferred formation, and the fact that we didn't change it yesterday just because something worked against Spurs last season, for me it shows the progress and the faith that Frank Lampard has, not only in the new signings, but also in the formations and tactics that some people have said earlier in the season, Lampard has no tactics, Lampard has no ideas. The fact that we're sticking with it, and we did stick with it yesterday, is a real big positive for me. The conservativeness, I do completely agree. I think there were times in the first half yesterday where it would have been nice if we tried to see us move the ball a bit quicker, tried to break the lines a little bit, which was very hard to do because Spurs were playing with so many men compact in the middle and at the back. It wasn't easy. And I think Chelsea did create chances, we just didn't finish them off. And I know that comes back to Tammy Abraham missing the majority of those chances, but Olivier Giroud almost missed the biggest chance of the game as well in the 92nd minute, which, you could say if he had an extra 10 minutes and came on earlier, he might have been a little bit more on the ball when it came to finishing that one in the 92nd. But these are all things that I think, yes, we could say that, Tammy didn't have the best game or Giroud would have converted those chances. Tammy deserved to start based off of his prior performances, and I don't really think there's much else that Frank should have done. So yeah, I wanted to make another video talking about this Spurs game yesterday because there was a lot of questions and there was quite a bit of negativity that came from this one. I just kind of wanted to calm things down with today's video a little bit, maybe make us think about things from a slightly different perspective. I do think that Tammy Abraham should have done better, but I don't want to be sat here just criticising the man constantly on social media and on my YouTube channel because that's not going to do the man any good himself. He's a young lad, we know that he uses social media quite a bit, and I feel as though the criticism he was getting, considering how well he's done so far this season, has been blown ever so slightly out of proportion. So trying to bring you the voice of reason here today on GBFC. Sevilla on Wednesday. I wanted to make this video today before we start talking Sevilla tomorrow, and it's December, which means it's Christmas, and there's going to be 12 collabs of Christmas this Christmas. So if you've got anyone that you would like me to collaborate with in the Chelsea community or in the footballing world who I can jump on a little video call with and chat Chelsea, chat transfers, whatever it may be, recommend your people in the comments down below and I will see what I can do. And yeah, as I said at the start, if you're not yet subscribed to GBFC, I'd love to ask you to do so. Hit the like button on today's video, that would be grand. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, those are linked down below as well, just at Mr. George Benson. Thank you guys for watching and I'll see you tomorrow with a Sevilla preview. Catch you all there, bye bye.